Hey guys, Steven here with another episode of the VANCAST, and today we have a guest on. I don't do this a lot, but I thought I'd bring on Kraig Adams. You might know him. Let's just introduce him. So, do your introduction, like where you're from, what do you do, just from audience to know in case they don't know you.
Hi, yeah, I'm Kraig Adams. I'm a filmmaker and YouTuber living in Brooklyn, New York. And I've just been filmmaking for a while. I did the whole technical thing, but right now I'm loving the short form content for Instagram and YouTube.
Yeah, because I don't know how I exactly found you, but I found that I was like following you on Twitter. I wasn't sure how or why. And then I also saw I was like following you on YouTube. And did you find me first or did I find you? I'm not 100% sure on that. I think I did check out your other channel, Wedding Film School. I think that may be the reason, but I saw that you're following me on Twitter, and that was pretty cool after I saw your content. So do you know that? Like, do you know how you found me or if I found you?
Yeah, I've got two channels, so it's either Wedding Film School or the Kraig Adams channel, but I think we had a Justin Adisho was a mutual friend. I think that may be the deciding connection between the two of us.
Yeah, because I just listened to that as well, and it was pretty good podcast. I was on there as well, and it's great. Like, podcasts are so cool now. You get to reach new people, different people. Like we're like across the border. I'm from Toronto, and you're from like New York area, so that's really cool that I can do this type of stuff and we can provide value to our audience. So that's cool.
Are you going to Buffer Festival this weekend?
Yeah, I am.
Cool.
I'm going on Friday and Saturday for the comedy, and I'm not sure what the other screening is, but I'm going for the comedy one. Are you going?
No, I'm not. I've got other things to do here in the city, but a bunch of my New York City friends and YouTubers are going up for it. I've never been.
All right,
I hear it's good though.
Yeah, there's a lot of creators like Casey Neistat and like Peter McKinnon, a lot of people going. So I thought I'd just go and just go to as many events as I can just to like meet people.
Well, if you're that close,
yeah. So I just wanted to like kind of just dive deep into like what got you started, and like were you always interested in videography and like wedding stuff like that, or was it like progressive? Like, did you start with something and it kind of caught interest? Like were you into it in school and all that sort of stuff, like videography?
I'd say like most people, I started off just making dumb little parodies. I loved Jackass, so I would get my friends together and we'd reproduce some of the dumb stunts and shoot little short films like that. Wasn't until senior year of high school that it told me, you can make a career out of this.
So did you go to?
That was the first.
Yeah. Did you go to college or anything for that? Like this tour?
Yeah. So that was when I was deciding to go to college to be an architect. But at that moment, I realized, filmmaking's pretty cool. I've been making these student projects, and I could be a filmmaker. So from that moment on, I went to school at Buffalo State College, television film arts program, and was a filmmaker 100% going forward from there.
Yeah, because in case you don't know, I'm still in high school. I'm grade 11, and so like right now I'm trying to still decide, and I'm not sure if it's still. Do you believe that like film school is worth it and just like the whole experience, like because looking at like how much it costs and how much time it takes to complete a university or a college, like do you think it's worth the money in time?
It's funny. Everyone wants to know. This is a hot button topic. This is actually what the documentary that just wrapped a couple minutes ago was interviewing me about. It's a documentary all about should you go to film school. And I, like most people, didn't really have much of an option. I was told by other people that this is just what you do. You go to college and then you try to get an internship and then you try to be in Hollywood. I didn't know there was this other alternate route of being an influencer and a YouTuber making short form content. And I'm loving what I'm doing now. And I get the question a lot. A lot of my subscribers are filmmakers themselves thinking about going to college. And my answer right now is, do you learn best when you're teaching yourself? I think most filmmakers do. And then my advice is to find a mentor, get some equipment, shoot and edit every day, and just try to help as many people as possible.
Yeah, I feel like the internet has kind of opened up like a lot of things. Like I was born into the internet. I'm not sure if you were, like you're a bit older than me, but like ever since like I could like remember, like the last thing I could remember, like I've always known about the internet, and just like there's videos on everything. There's like people everywhere. There's like you can gain a big audience and you can monetize that. So you don't really have to go to it. But like I'm at the point where I kind of don't have a choice just because pressure of parents and that sort of stuff. So it just seems really likely that I'm just gonna go to film school just so I am in a school after high school, if you know what I mean. And yeah, we're just gonna get into your wedding, whole wedding channel and what you do on there and how you kind of transitioned it to transition to your other channel, because I know a lot of people have two channels. Like some people have two channels and they can't decide what to post on each. Like how do you balance that? Like is there one type of content that you kind of wanted to be only on your kind of like I'd say vlog channel, or your other channel where it's called Kraig Adams, and then your wedding film school? Is there like what's the difference between those two, and what do you like to keep separate?
Wedding film school is 3 years old, and I was making wedding films, but the tutorials and teaching people how to shoot became almost more fun than shooting weddings. So I definitely fell into that, not knowing what I was doing from the business aspect. Started monetizing a year after starting that channel, and that was a complete surprise. I did not expect to be making the amount of money that I'm making now 3 years down the road with that channel, and it's now at 80,000. I didn't even think there were 10,000 wedding filmmakers that would be interested on YouTube, so that was a big surprise. And I took all of the knowledge that I learned from that first channel and started the Kraig Adams channel a little over a year ago, with vlogging and general filmmaking tutorials and just documenting my growth as a creative in New York City. A lot of minimalist stuff now. So I definitely have a better idea of the business behind YouTube with this second channel. And it's been fun. You know, I honestly can make whatever I want on the Kraig Adams channel, but the Wedding Film School channel is definitely more niche. People have come to expect BTS gear reviews. So if I put a vlog up there or some kind of funny review where I'm making fun of the product, people would be taken back a little bit. So Wedding Film School is still making me a lot of money, even though I'm not shooting weddings, but making it more of a community, I guess.
That was an issue with me because I'm still trying to figure out whether to make a separate channel for behind the scenes and stuff like that, because at the moment I'm doing tutorials and, you know, like advice type content similar to what's on Wedding Film School. So I was wondering if I should put personal content on like a separate channel. So that's kind of like a big issue with a lot of people. Some people make second channels for that. And you talked about like learning the business side. I know you're kind of known for like affiliate links and that sort of stuff. I watched like all like your podcast with Sarah and then the one with Justin as well, and they mentioned that as well. So what do you think about like what different streams of revenue can you make? Like can you like open up just having a big following in YouTube channel? Like what advice can you give to somebody like in terms of like brand deals and like affiliate stuff? Like what are the ways that you make money?
I think a lot of people's subscribers are people who want to become the person that they're following. So we all use tools to make the videos that we're doing. And just sharing what tools those are and how to use them is something anyone can do. Tutorials and reviews are very easy to shoot because as long as you have a following, you're an authority. You know, it doesn't matter how much you know about the stuff. Even if you're kind of using it as a novice, like this camera or that light, you know, sharing that advice and your perspective is totally worth it. So you don't have to be like the world's most famous Philip Bloom filmmaker to share your opinion about this lens or this dolly or whatever. So whether it's hair or makeup, filmmaking, cooking, so many tools, so many things that you can sell on Amazon or B&H to your subscribers to use. You know, it helps them. They're getting knowledge and advice on what to buy, and you're making a small cut off of those affiliate clicks. So why not? Win-win. But there's such a thing about wedding filmmaking though that people spend so much money on. So I think I'm fortunate in that when I compare my numbers to other people and YouTubers that I'm coaching to monetize their channel though. I will say that.
Yeah, because I was looking into getting into wedding filmmaking. and that sort of stuff. And the equipment definitely is a lot because just like a lens by itself would be like $1,000, and you could like just putting your affiliate link and just getting one sale off that is like a lot. And yeah, I guess it's just like every single sponsored video I've ever made, the brand that's sponsoring the content, either like they usually have an affiliate program, or if I'm mentioning some music service on one of my tutorials, I can just put an affiliate link, like Epidemic Music, Epidemic Sound actually, and like things like vidIQ, TubeBuddy, the video optimization tools as well. Like I mentioned in my videos, I can just place them in the description. It can help out the viewer as well. And I was just wondering, do you use TubeBuddy, vidIQ, those extensions? Because I do know you're very, very good with like optimization, and I've noticed that. And I watched Justin's whole podcast, and you guys were talking about that as well. So do you use those tools to help you out?
Yeah, I've got a couple tools. I will be honest, I usually use them after they approach me for to become an affiliate and offer the free. But there are a couple apps and programs that I use that I pay. But if I do like it, I eventually approach them with sponsorship. TubeBuddy's cool. I've been using that for about a year now. I don't make too much with affiliate just because I'm not really teaching people how to do that yet, but I do have one small video.
Oh, okay. I was also wondering, how do you reach out to brands? I feel like this is a big topic because there are a lot of YouTubers or just like content creators who are trying to monetize their following and don't know how to reach out. Like, they come across like too much of a certain thing, or they spam, or like, how do you personally reach out to brands?
A lot of that comes from self-evaluation. You have to know what you're worth, because the ability to say no to most of it is the only way you're going to survive. I think people should really just focus on one or two good sponsors that they actually use, they actually love. Because if you have to kind of lie and exaggerate, yes, this is awesome, I use this, kind of hurts inside a little bit. So it's really easy to rep Squarespace. I love Squarespace. I've got an upcoming sponsorship with them for wedding film school. Yeah. It's fun. That's the next level. Affiliate is very easy because there's no contracts. You make it yourself and you make as much as you bring traffic to. There's levels of sponsorship, and the sponsorship deals with contracts takes a bit of time to finesse, but they usually make you more money.
Yeah, usually the sponsorships and the brands like I go after are the ones that I like their product or their service, and then I reach out to them. So like I was gonna get a Zion crane anyways, right? And I just decided to reach out to them because like I've used it a couple times and I liked it. I was gonna buy it, but I decided to like reach out to them, like see if they send it out and I can make reviews and stuff, and it worked out. And that's just an example of, like, if you never ask or you never try to do something, you'll never know if it's gonna happen. Like a lot of times people like don't think the choice or decision they're making is gonna be impactful or it's gonna be worth their time, but most of the time it actually has a big impact.
Just make a good first impression though, because if they don't take you for this moment to do sponsorship, you're only going to grow as a brand. So down the road, they may take another look at you. So I'm very careful with how I communicate with brands. Like I've been trying to get Rode. I've been trying to become a Sony ambassador. There's a couple, like I would love to do some sponsorship work with Uniqlo. So it's a long-term game. You gotta play it slow, and you gotta be respectful if they're not willing to take a risk with your content yet.
Yeah, I feel like usually people just put out, like when they email a company, they just put out all their stats and statistics and stuff like that. I think like I recommend putting out what you can offer for them. Just besides statistics, like can you help them reach a new audience? Like can you help them do certain things? Like I think if you just first bring them value and just show them what you can do first, it's a lot better than just like putting out everything at once. Like because these brands get a lot of emails from like different people, and like even with like me, like the emails that I get, usually the ones that I reply to are the one, like I reply to all of them, but usually the ones that I kind of commit to, like if somebody wants to collaborate or something like that, usually I'd only kind of like agree to collab back if they were able to provide me something in the first couple lines. They said exactly what they could provide me. I think that's really important, just providing value up front. What do you think about that?
Yeah, clear communication goes a long way, and just very quickly and easily coming to the straight terms of what we're both getting out of this. It has to be beneficial to both of us. And I was going to touch upon that subject also with brand agencies do spec scripts and spec shoots. So I've kind of been treating myself like an agency alone. And if I want to work with a brand, I will just make the commercial and put it out there. Here's some free content promoting your stuff. And like you said, branching out to my audience for free, and they get to see what you're going to do. And I think that's a great way that to get new sponsors that you're trying to push for.
Yeah, I see a lot of people can't grasp the idea of like doing free work in order to like catch somebody's attention or for like exposure. But like I've been doing that
short term versus long term,
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of I've been reaching out to a lot of influencers on Instagram, on YouTube. Even though I don't get paid for it, in the long term, they might come back to me for a project that they're working on and stuff like that. So I did a photo shoot with a pretty big YouTuber, and she agreed that if I did this for free, and if she liked it, she would bring me back to help her with other videos. So that's just an example as well. And just put out like content, because just keep putting out content, like, because if there might be that one piece of content that you don't put out that would have helped you out a lot. So I'm not sure how you view like quality over quantity, but usually I'd go for like, I think you can find a balance of some sort, and you can just put out a lot of content. But like, how do you feel about quality over quantity? Because I still haven't found out the right balance. I'm sure maybe you have, or maybe you have a different view of this, but how do you view it?
I think it goes up and down a lot. It's a wave that goes up and down. I've seen so many vloggers, young vloggers with sub 100, people following them, and they're making daily content, but no one's watching. They've got less than 30 views on each vlog, and it's just too much. You need to slow down. Yes, daily vlogging is fantastic to learn how to shoot and edit a story quickly, but if no one's watching it, you're making too much. So if someone's doing that, I would give them the advice of upload once a month, make it the best 2-minute video that anyone watches. You just have to make denser videos. And then once those are successful, then you can up the quality or the quantity. I think it goes back and forth. Right now, I am slowing down. I am not uploading as much, but I'm making sure every second is not wasted of my subscribers' time. And because I'm just trying to find my thing. I'm stretching for originality right now. That's my main focus.
Yeah, I also want to touch on that originality. Do you feel like it's really hard to make a video that somebody hasn't made, unless it's a vlog and it's your own life, but covering topics that other people cover and just coming up with ideas. What's your process with that? Because you don't want to copy another person. You want to be original, but then you see somebody else with the same video. How do you go about that?
Yeah, I think it's best. Kind of everyone starts off emulating their inspirations. I think that's fair. That's how we all start out, but that kind of gets old. It hurts your heart a little bit when you're not really making something that's truly you. And like I said, my main focus right now is trying to find that originality. And the best way to reach that is to take risks. This is something that isn't formally taught in school and really isn't talked about that much in the community. But honestly, like going up to the girl in the bar and striking up conversation is good practice. Just being willing to stick to your guts because you love or likes to do something, even though other people tell you it's stupid or put you down because it's weird and different. This originality practice is so important, but it's not being taught in film schools or talked about.
Yeah, I feel like if you look at like all these travel videos and just the whole filmmaking scene, it's like people use the same transitions and like
it's so easy to copy what is successful because that's safe. That worked, so why not just copy it? But and you will have success. slowly if you just copy and copy, but you'll be ever for in the shadow of the person that you're copying. Because when you copy, any success that you have is success for the person you copied. So a lot of people copy Casey, but the more people copy him, the more he becomes famous, because they attribute any copycats of Casey to Casey's success, you know?
Yeah, I feel practice and just doing like figuring out I don't know how, like over the years, I think just creating more content and just keep doing things, like by keep doing things, I just somehow am accustomed to doing things a certain way. And so the kind of me kind of trying to copy another person kind of goes away, because like, I don't know how to word that, but
mix it up.
yeah, it's like me doing something a lot kind of eliminates all of the copying I've done from somebody else, you know? Like I get used to doing it my way. After just putting out so much content, I get used to doing certain things, and it becomes my style. And like I mentioned before, like presets and like plugins, and like everybody has the same thing now, and it's just, I think all that is short term. Like you'll get some type of short term success, but if you create your own thing and your own style, over the long term, it'll turn out better. I like in like the music industry, people who are doing the same things won't be there for a long time. The people who like come up with their own wave, their own style, are usually the ones who are different are usually the ones who are there for the longest time. You know what I mean? I just feel like you shouldn't just follow the norm all the time, even though you can get, you know, more views at that moment in time. But over time, over a long stretch of like years, like a couple months, it'll pay off. Just being original.
It all depends on what your definition of success is.
Oh yeah, that's very true as well.
What's your goal, you know?
Like for me, it's just getting an audience that is there for. Actually, I haven't thought of that. I haven't thought of my the definition. Like I don't even know what I'm aiming for at the moment for my career. I'm still really young, and I still have a lot of time to decide. But like, yeah, that's a good question.
Your why is the most important. Your how is the next part of that question, and then the what figures itself out.
Do you ever know truly what you want at like the end? Like, do you truly know what you want? Like, do you have an end goal?
Yeah, so I don't have a 5, 10, 20 year plan. I am just focused right in on the present and holding true to my value of freedom of mobility. I want to have 100% content control over whatever I'm making. I want to be able to make whatever, wherever, whenever. And that's what I'm doing. I'm happy.
I've been thinking about people who make like 200K in a job, like a office job, compared to like a person making 200,000 being an influencer, right? There's so much more freedom, and you can sleep whenever you want, wake up whenever you want. And you kind of have more choices in your life. I feel like the reason I don't want to go to university or college is just because in those 3-4 years that I could be doing something else with my own freedom, right? I can be making my own content in that area of time. But with university, college, you have a schedule, you have everything timed out for you, like planned out for you. And so it's just that freedom that I won't have during those 3-4 years. I think that's the biggest reason. And yeah, like
everything is a choice, though. You just have to know which direction you're moving. You know, you need to know that end goal to make a decision. It's easy to say in hindsight, I wish I never went to college or film school. But I was a very different person back then. So I understand that you struggle with finding this why when you probably, like most people, get your definition of success from other people and what they tell you, which is always difficult, you know?
Yeah, what's your advice for anybody like either deciding to go to university or not, or a person graduating from university, like what to do after, as like a creative, like somebody like doing similar things to us? What's your recommendation? Like, is it to just like full up, just work, 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 or trying to like, I guess it's different for everybody, but for somebody who is like me and who is really unsure of what to do, what's your advice?
You have to develop your own filter. You have to know what is good advice and what is bad advice. You're going to get a lot of people telling you what to do. And a lot of that is projection from their own problems and their own insecurities, their own shortcomings. A lot of people who were close to me after the end of college would have never said, become a full-time YouTuber. They would have said, you have to get a full-time job in Manhattan as a video director or something and commute. And that's what I almost did, because I was letting other people define what I should be doing. But having a filter, you know, the people who are close to you and love you are going to critique you sometimes, but it's coming from a place of love and care. And you can actually listen and learn. But like anyone on YouTube or social media knows, there's going to be a lot of hate just for hate's sake. And you can't listen to that. You have to develop your own filter and know what's good and bad.
Yeah, that's why I feel like the people you surround yourself surround yourself with is very important. Yeah, I only have a couple friends now in high school, and like I always thought it was just a cliche, like you lose friends in high school. Like I'm still not even in the real world yet, but it seems like the people I surround myself with are actually a reflection of me. Some of my closest friends are like the most ambitious people ever, and I see other groups of people who are less ambitious, and it kind of reflects with what they're doing. And I really do think that, and I think you need to surround yourself with really positive people who aren't afraid to tell you the truth and critique you, like you said. And I think it helps. Like I don't know. Yeah.
People that you grow with should be in your inner circle.
I feel like if you aren't growing with me, and like, that's why like a lot of the people I've talked to in the past, I don't talk to now, just because it seems like they don't really want anything better for themselves. They just want to stay in one spot, right? Because they're more comfortable in that. But I feel like growth is essential to anything, right? You have to want to become better in other aspects of your life, or else it's just not fun. That's just life.
It's something you feel, you're not wrong for moving on and defining who your inner circle should be. You should be selective with that. You should be careful, because there's a level of trust that comes from that group. And I would guess my second piece of advice is to really practice taking risk. It's something that, like I said, isn't taught in school, isn't really talked about a lot, but you have to be able to take a healthy amount of risk. And the people that you're describing are the ones who want to keep things safe. They want to keep the status quo. They would rather just get a normal job where they commute to and complain and then live for the weekend. That's easy. That's the American dream. That's the sad thing about it. There's this new generation of people. There's always been some, but I think I align myself with people who are just completely willing to take a risk, change things up, and not have that 9 to 5. So the fact that you're doing this podcast right now and so young, I think that's proof enough. I think you're on the right path. I think you're killing it. So you should at least be proud of that fact.
Yeah, I've become more self-aware and just like knowing what to surround myself with, who, just what's like doing certain things. Like I've just over the years, because I've started this whole like kind of career for myself like 3 years ago when I was like 12, 13 years old, and it started really early. And I've learned a lot since then, and I've learned what to do, what not to do, and just like I want to be able to kind of get some information from you that would kind of relate back to me, like what I'm going through. So when you graduated from college, what was like in your mind? What were people telling you? Like, were your parents supportive of what you're doing? Were your friends like, how did that all go? Like, what was going through your mind at that time?
I was shooting weddings, and that was my main source of income. I had just moved to New York City, So I was looking for work, any work I could, and money was really tight. I didn't have that much to fall back on. And I was always wondering, should I have a full-time job just so that it's safe, just so I have some kind of income? And people were worried for me. They thought I should have some kind of job. Being a full-time wedding filmmaker would be a little risky to them. So, they wanted me to be safe in some sense. And like I said, I almost took a full salary job and did that. But from that moment on, I decided I was going to be a creative who did things on their own and never have a boss. That was a really important week for my life, for defining what my goals are. And I did a lot of reading. I did a lot of self-evaluation. I know the months surrounding that, I went on a couple solo trips, and that does wonders for your own inner realization about who you are and what kind of stuff you want to do. So that's some advice I would give. Have you done any trips? Have you done that kind of soul searching kind of thing yet? It's more of a college thing.
Yeah, obviously I can't afford so much to do that, right? But yeah. I usually go everywhere by myself. I go I do a lot of shoots downtown in Toronto. I'm not from Toronto. I'm from the suburbs, so it take like an hour, 2-hour bus ride there. So I usually go there every weekend by myself and just shoot, just like experience it, because I feel like the city is so great. I just like the vibe. Like I've been to New York around New York City 4 or 5 times in the last couple summers, and just the vibe of that is just amazing. Did you always live in New York, or was this something like a kind of like a fantasy dream of yours to go to New York City? I'm pretty sure you don't live in New York City. I think you live in like Brooklyn. I saw on your Twitter or something, but did you? Because you just said you moved there after college. I think that's what you said. So, yeah.
I've lived in the state of New York all of my life. So my family home was about a 5-hour drive from here, and I went to college in Buffalo, New York, which is like a 6-hour drive from here. But it was until junior year semester internship at MTV here in Times Square that I discovered how much I love the city of New York. It's crazy. It's the most competitive place I've ever seen. And you can just pack a backpack, grab your camera, and just go out into the city for an entire day and literally have like 5 adventures. So I fell in love with the city, hated Viacom, hated MTV, went back, graduated as quickly as I could, and then got out of there.
Yeah, like there's this whole community in Toronto that's I feel like is very similar to New York. Kind of, it's on a smaller scale, but whenever I go out to Toronto, there's always creators out there as well. I've been to the YouTube creator space a couple of times, and it's great. A lot of the bigger creators support the smaller creators, and it's just a great vibe, a great community feel to it. And I look forward to coming to New York again. It's really great there as well. I met a couple of people there as well, and I just like the city so much. I want to move when I graduate, or I'm planning on going to university in the city, so that should kind of help me out as well. But yeah, just the city's great and people are great, And like I also want to get into people, relationships, just networking and that sort of stuff. The importance of collaborating, the importance of getting to know certain people.
Yeah, there's a great New York City fam we've got going on, just Instagrammers and YouTubers here in the city. Most of them are leaving this weekend for Buffer Festival up in Toronto, but yeah, Sarah, Sam, all these guys down here.
Yeah, that's just great. I heard you talk about in the Justin Adishu podcast. I'm not sure if it was you, but you said like the people are very important. I'm not. Did you say that? I'm not 100% sure. Maybe you said something.
I did.
Like that. Yeah. So I just I've been collaborating with a bunch of creators. I've been just reaching out to a bunch of people, and I feel just like you don't always have to be the best at this, like the thing you do. But I think if you put yourself out there, you're going to kind of be open to much more opportunities than people who are doing great work but aren't trying to, meet other people. Like, I don't have the best photography work, but I'm able to get more clients than somebody else and do more work because I put myself in a position to do so. So what are your thoughts about that?
It's dangerous when you start comparing yourself to other creatives. That can be dangerous to yourself and relationships. You really have to think long term, not short term. Sam Sheffer's motto is "Be nice, you never know," and that's true. You should be kind to everyone because you never know. Down the road, they could hit it big and be able to help you out in some sense. So it's not as selfish as it sounds, but you really should just be nice to everyone. The one thing that I wish I knew in college was the importance of good relationships. It's not so much about the art of filmmaking and the craft and how good your shots are or how quickly you edit. So much of success as a YouTuber comes down to the relationships and how you treat the people around you. It comes down to how well you're able to keep promises that you make, and are you a person that they want on set after 10 hours of stressful shooting? Are you able to put on a smile, make people laugh, and be someone who actually enjoys working with? Because that's who they're going to keep bringing back over and over again. Someone who's fun and brings energy.
Yeah, it seems like every time I go downtown and I meet a new person, and then after I found out like they're just like a huge YouTuber creator person, right? I didn't notice they were just like super nice, and I would have never expected it. I've been to a bunch of events in the last year where I've met one person and they know another person that I've met, and it's just like, it feels like the world is such a small place, and I'm meeting people here and there and they all know each other somehow. And like, people put you on sometimes, like when you're nice to somebody, and like, I'm not trying to say that you have to be nice and be a fake person and stuff like that, but just be genuine to like somebody, just being a good person. It can take you places. I met this person who I'm volunteering for this place, and the person who kind of is hosting the volunteer, like who's running that team, actually talked to me, and he was a really nice person. And it turns out he knows this creative director, and he showed me around his studio and stuff like that, and connected me with that guy. And just like small connections, and just, you don't know what another person can do, like who they know, what they like, who they are. Like, I feel it's just like, it's mind blowing. I've just been meeting so many people and making so many connections to different things. I'm sure you can relate as well.
And it's something that classes don't teach. It's super important. It's the key to success, honestly.
Yeah, I've heard about networking and collaborating like my whole life, but there's something different. It's just, it literally, this person, and if you know this particular person, you can be in a particular position that you never thought you'd ever be in. And yeah, that's pretty cool. There's just like one last question. I'm going to end it off very soon. This is a question I get a lot from my subscribers, and it's, how do you price your work? A lot of people say not to price hourly. Some people say have a set price for everything you do. How do you price your work? Like your services?
Yeah, I think it's kind of counterintuitive, but value doesn't always equate to money. So especially in the world of influencers and people helping and shouting each other out, and just gaining subs from cross promotion and collabs, money doesn't always mean all the value that's in the relationship, So as far as pricing work, you gotta keep pushing until you get no's. A lot of people will always say yes to jobs and always underprice themselves. I think the more you hear no after you give them a price, that's healthy. You should be really getting like 50% yes, 50% no after you give them the asking price. Because if you tell a brand 500 a video for this, and they always say yes, you're undercutting yourself. You should be charging 1,000. Try that next time. And if you get 5 out of 10 brands saying no, that's too expensive, it seems about good. That's a good rate, That's what I would always tell wedding people. You should be upping your price until you get 50% no's.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. Just one last question, just for me, a personal question that I've always kind of wondered is, how did you get into wedding videography? Because you didn't mention when you entered college that you were particularly interested in the kind of subject. Did you sort of just like filmmaking in general, and then you just thought weddings is a perfect way, or how did you get into that?
I had zero intention of starting a wedding filmmaking business, let alone a channel. I kind of wish I had wedding film school, because that's what I would have used to get myself ready. I wish I had it, and that's why I made it. My first wedding was given to me by my art teacher in high school. I was a senior. I had really never been to a wedding, so I had to research what the actual events were going to be. I didn't know there was things, I showed up with my batteries accidentally depleted in my Sony Handycam. I had to charge, shoot guests right before the ceremony. But it was really fun, I didn't know how to make a DVD. There were so many things that I just had to say yes to and then figure out at the last minute. I think I made $200. I made that video, put it on Facebook, and the bride lost her mind. She loved it. And then other people saw that, and I just started to get more and more people asking me to shoot something like that. I remember when I charged $600 for a wedding, I was like, what? I'm making out like a bandit. I could buy a whole lens after I shoot this wedding. So crazy to me.
Yeah, that's just because I've been trying to get into wedding videography and photography as well, and you're one of the big kind of people I look up to for that sort of stuff because of your whole channel, and just your whole portfolio is great. And just last question, I keep saying last question, but I don't want to stick to I don't want to just stick with consecration and all advice type things. I just want to know, what are your interests besides video? Do you have are you really into music? Are you really into, I don't know, sports? Or what are your other interests and some things you're doing besides video?
Yeah, coffee's dope. Everyone loves food. It sounds really basic, but running is really, really relaxing to me. And I remember when I couldn't run 5 miles without dying, but now I'm able to do 10, 15, 20 mile races and stuff. And I'm excited to actually shoot a little mini vlog documentary next weekend in Virginia, because my younger brother is going to run 100-mile race. And that's that's stupid. That's stupid. I think that's going to be the thesis of my video. I'll be like, Curtis, you're an idiot. Why are you doing this? And then cue beautiful drone footage of all these people running in the mountains. But yeah. Basic things like food, coffee, running. I love movies. I saw a movie last night. I saw that Kingsman movie. That was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I was gonna watch that. I just watched it, and it was pretty good. Yeah, movies and TV shows for me are really where I kind of get my inspiration, even though it's not a lot of the inspiration I get aren't from I make videos, right? Sometimes I get inspiration from music and other things. I find inspiration from everywhere, to be honest. Music, especially. I can't go a day without music. And yeah, that's kind of the end of the episode. I want to thank you and just answering all the questions. Really good for me as well. Very selfish of me, because I've been getting guests that I really wanted to talk to and just get out as much as I can from them. So that's been great. I look up to you a lot. I watch a lot of your stuff. I follow you on everywhere. So it's just been great to talk to you. And I just want to thank you for all the advice again. So yeah, if you want to plug any of your social media, of any of your things.
Yeah. Thanks a lot for having me. And I'm up in Toronto all the time. I love TIFF. And next time I'm up there, we got to get some people together, link up. Even though you're out of the city, you got to come in for it. Promise? I'll buy you some coffee. You're not old enough to drink, so. Wait, what's the drinking age in Canada? 19? How old are you?
I think I'm 15. I'm 15.
You're
I turned
15?
16
That is
on Sunday. So
insane, bro. You got a decade on me.
I hear that a lot. But yeah, I feel like I'm so old, but I'm young, you know, because I've been doing it for 3 years.
No,
even though 3 years isn't a
shut
lot.
up.
3 years felt like
Shut
a
up
year to
about
me.
that. You're making me
like-
feel old.
when I'm at like 10 years and just like 10 years doing my own thing, I think it's just gonna pass way too quick because it's already passed pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So that's the end
All
of the
right, well,
episode. I keep saying that. I keep like
thanks a
stretching
lot.
this episode. Yeah. My name is Steven, and I'll see you in the next one.